so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you so
I
much.
have a set of questions for you. I hope you're all geared up.
Absolutely. Looking forward.
Okay. So it is said to be a year of global slowdown. However, we see India shining at a bright spot. Uh, what is your prediction as a marketeer? What are your predictions on the growth pattern as well as the marketing spends that we're going to observe in the coming few months? Do you think they will be on a growth trajectory or remain restrained? What do you feel?
I think overall, if you look at the macroeconomic indicators, India has been doing really well. Very recently, a lot of global agencies released India's GDP growth forecast, and we were topping well above 6% for that. And we are one of the few countries in the world to be able to project it at that GDP growth level. However, I think from a growth perspective, things are different from industry to industry. There are industries that are facing the brunt of the global slowdown, and there are industries who are primarily built on the global, on the domestic demand, and they're doing really well. For example, industries which are in the FMCG space or industries in the durable space have been having a very good year so far, and now we are sitting at the brink of the festival season. So I think all of us are really expecting a very robust festival season. And I think all of us are gearing up well for that. So I think overall advertising spends in this year, at least from that section of the industry, should go up versus last year. There might be other industries which are facing a bit of a slowdown, and I think that is where we will see a bit of a depression. The whole industry combined, we should even out maybe a little higher than last year is what I think.
Festive is always a great time for the brands especially. Okay, so you are a marketeer of the AI age, AI and tech age. What are some of the observations that you've made in terms of the trends that have followed after the arrival of generative AI, number one? And second, how does that really influence your marketing decisions at large?
Very interesting question. Honestly, if you were to look at how generative AI's arrival has changed marketing, I'm going to split it into two. One is the consumer perspective and one is the marketer's perspective. From a consumer perspective, there is a lot of interest, a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation and expectation from brands to really adopt it and see what you can do from a communication perspective, product perspective, etc. But if you were to cross over to the marketer's side of the universe, you will see that we are being slightly cautious in adoption of AI, right? We are, I think as a fraternity or as an industry, we've been using technology a lot in terms of leveraging it to fine tune the way we target consumers, the way we serve the most optimal creatives to the right audience at the right point in time. Now with the advent of generative AI, I think marketing fraternity is still trying to figure out what is the best optimal fit of it in the whole value chain that marketing sets up. Of course, a lot of us have experimented quite a bit. For example, I was with Coke a couple of years ago. Actually a year ago, and we did India's first metaverse wedding. We were the first brand in the world to do that, and I think that was a very interesting experience. But how do we take that experience forward into a logical brand story which is integrated with the brand story that we want to tell to the consumer is a question that a lot of marketers are still grappling with. I think as time goes by and generative AI also finds a firmer footing, as marketers, we are also going to discover more about how best we can utilize this technology to deliver more immersive experiences to the consumers, as well as to see how, in the context of the current company that I work with, which is Vasuni India Home Solutions, how do we use this technology to make our products smarter, more useful for consumers, more intuitive for consumers. So I think it's just the beginning of something really, really big. And over the next whole decade, we're going to see a lot of developments in this space across the spectrum of product, media choices, targeting, as well as immersive experience generation.
So you mean we're still in the pilot stage and there's
Absolutely.
a long, long way to go,
Absolutely.
right? Okay, understood. Okay, so, taking cue from this answer, how really has the relationship between a marketeer and the agency, really evolved because of the arrival of generative AI?
Can I be honest?
Of course.
I don't think it hasn't changed much. And that's largely because, again, I think marketers are still trying to figure out how to best leverage generative AI. Agencies are really more than just content spewing machines for us. Agencies are really partners, right? A genuine agency-client relationship is where co-creation of a lot of things happens. When as a marketer I give a brief to an agency, I don't expect just elements of deliverables, but I expect actually a very deep level of partnership where not just joint thinking happens, but a lot of joint ownership happens. And AI is only a tool to really improve, maybe speed up the quality of execution. But I think agency client partnerships are irreplaceable. AI is only going to probably speed up execution, maybe improve quality of output, but I don't think AI is going to really be able to impact
So it's
agency
not
client
that big an
relationships.
influence, really.
It's definitely not a negative influence. I think over a period of time, it will impact positively by improving speed of reaction.
That's it. Understood. And there've been a slew of debates around how a role of a marketeer, or so say any other job role, so to say, how has that been compromised or been redundant because of the arrival of AI? Do you think, as a marketeer or as a CMO, do you think that role has been compromised in that aspect for you or overall the marketing industry?
I sometimes wonder about the genesis of debates like this, simply because artificial intelligence pours out what's been fed into it over years of human intelligence, right? End of the day. And a CMO's role, or for that matter, any human being's role in a company, in a function, is about bringing human intelligence and human sensitivity on board.
Correct.
And again, while AI can really ease a lot of things, improve a lot of things, speed up a lot of things, it can never truly replace human intelligence, is what I personally believe. And therefore, I don't think our role has been compromised. Of course, AI is going to impose on us needs to be faster, needs to be stronger, sharper in a lot of domains, but I don't think AI can ever truly replace human intelligence. Also, marketing, as you know, is a combination of art and science, right? It involves a lot of creativity. Again, AI can regurgitate whatever's been fed to it over a number of years across the world. Can it genuinely create something from scratch and be creative? I have my doubts at the moment, and therefore I think human beings will always have a role to play. CMOs and the marketing fraternity as human beings will always have a role to play in building brand stories, even when AI becomes a lot more proliferated than it is at the moment.
Fair enough. Okay, my last question to you. So you've been in the industry for a couple of years. What is that one advice that you would want to give to the budding talent who are hoping to actually enter our domain? What are some of the things they should be watching out for?
I think, interesting question. I think one of the biggest advices that I usually give to new joinees in my team is this whole thing of staying humble and staying open to learning. I think one of the things that sets in the marketing fraternity very quickly is this whole syndrome of I know it all. I know the consumer, I know the customer, I know the product, I know what it does. I think that is the end of good marketing. As a marketer, you keep growing and you keep delivering clutter-breaking work for as long as you are open to learning how your work is failing the consumer in multiple manners, because the consumer is constantly evolving, the ecosystem is constantly evolving. So if there's one advice that I'm going to give to all the newbies who are coming in, is that no matter how many number of years, how many marquee brands, how many stellar achievements and awards you have under your belt, stay humble, stay open to learning, and stay open to understanding and believing that the consumer is right. It is a policy to say consumer को नहीं आता, consumer को सब आता है, हमें सीखना पड़ेगा. And I think as long as we can stay true to that adage, it's going to be a good journey.
That was all for today. Thank you so much for sparing time.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.